find in my life. Da ni'n hapus I weld nhw?
Da ni'n hapus anhygoel chi, ie. Croeso I chi I gyd yma. I man o'r afon. Tywydd bendigedig bore yma. Dim gwaith mor bendigedig o.
Pwy sydd wedi cael caban pren moethus, braf? Moethus? Who have you been sending blank checks to? Wyt ti'n dad? Yeah. Pwy sy'n cysgu mewn pabell oer? Yeah. Team tough. Da iawn. Reit te, wel, croeso I Cariad at Iaith yn swyddogol officially. You've been through the mill to get here, ond ydych chi wedi cyrraedd a dyn ni'n edrych ymlaen. Dyn ni'n mynd I gael lot o hwyl, iawn? Mae'n mynd I fod yn lot o hwyl. You're in safe hands, honest. Mae nhw dipyn bach yn safe yn rhaid. Reit te, dyn ni heddiw, yn y sesiwn gyntaf, in the first session, dyn ni just eisiau gwneud cwpl o bethau. First things first, dipyn bach o hanes, tell you a little bit about ourselves, yeah? I'm not going to tell you all my bad habits, just a little bit about dysgu Cymraeg and where we've come from, yeah? Wedyn, dyn ni'n mynd I siarad am y dull dysgu, the teaching method, give you a little bit of the science, pam dyn ni'n defnyddio y dull dysgu yma. We spoke briefly yn y cyfweliadau am dad awgrymeg I Suggestopedia, so we'll just tell you a little bit more about it. Wedyn, dyn ni'n mynd I wneud just cwpl o activities bach, maybe song and falle, nawn ni weld, that because we mean to go on. Ac wedyn, mae'n a surprise bach I chi. Okay? That's the bit you need to be afraid of. Right, so felly just ymlaciwch, just relax, okay, am munud bach. Felly, fel ydych chi'n gwybod, dwi'n gweithio fel tiwtor Cymraeg gyda un het, a dwi hefyd yn gweithio fel cyflwynydd, presenter ar y teledu. Felly, I fynd yn ôl to go back, iawn, es I Abertawe. Abertawe, do you know Abertawe? Yeah, ti'n byw yn agos Abertawe. Lovely, wrth y môr hyfryd. I astudio, I was very studious, I astudio gradd yn y Gymraeg, to do a Welsh degree. Ac wedyn, ar ôl y coleg, I said, I never want to be a teacher. Everybody's going off to do their teacher training, o'n I fel, not me, I don't want to be a teacher. So, nes I roi bag ar yng nghefn a mynd I deithio. India, Nepal, wedyn Israel, a Iaith, a bodio, and like, okay, I'll stand here. Nes I weithio ar mwsiaf, yn pigo peppers, pupur coch, pupur gwyrdd, pupur coch, pupur gwyrdd, pupur coch, bob dydd trwy'r dydd ar tractor. Ac wedyn, o'n i'n dod yn ôl ar draws Ewrop. The plan was I redeg allan o arian, so ble not money, in Spain, yn yr haf, ymarfer Sbaeneg fi, practice my Spanish. But, nes I redeg allan o arian yn Istanbul ym mis Ionawr in January, ac oedd hi'n bwrw eira. So, o'n I fel, right, so what do I do now? Ffonio mam a dad? Na. Felly, ges I swydd, I got a job, yn dysgu Saesneg yna. Nes I gyfarfod dyn hyfryd mewn caffi, ac oedd o'n dweud, oh, I really need to practice my English. Ac o'n I fel, I have no money to buy food. I know. Dyma fag o fwyd, here's a doggy bag, a byddai'n siarad Saesneg. You practice your English, I have a doggy bag at the end of every day. I swper. So, fel hyn, a wedyn ar ôl tua wythnos, he said, come with me to my school. So nes I gyrraedd yr ysgol, and they said, oh, fantastic, we need an English teacher. O'n I fel, oh no, ydw i'n gallu siarad Saesneg? Ydw i'n gallu dysgu Saesneg? Ond, ro'n I yn Istanbul am 9 mis, yn dysgu Saesneg fel tiwtor. And that's where I caught the bug. O'n I fel, oh, dwi wrth fy modd, dwi'n caru dysgu pobl. So I thought, right, if I can dysgu Saesneg to people in Istanbul, greasy carpet sellers, o'n I fel, love it, I can go home I Gymru a dysgu Cymraeg I bobl. So ddes I nôl I Gaerdydd a dechrau astudio MPhil mewn methodoleg dysgu ail iaith, second language teaching methods, which I then transferred to a PhD and never finished, because I got a job. Ond, roedd y gwaith o'n i'n neud yn helpu. So ges I swydd, I got a job, yn dysgu Cymraeg I bobl yn y brifysgol yng Nghaerdydd, in the university in Cardiff, yn dysgu Cymraeg. So then, it's like sitting in a library, not talking to anybody. Neu, dysgu Cymraeg I bobl, siarad, won the day. Felly, am blynyddoedd o'n i'n dysgu yno, until un diwrnod, clywes I bod nhw'n chwilio am diwtor Cymraeg for a programme ar S4C called Welsh in a Week. So, nath Ms Gwenda Griffith ffonio a deud, gai ddod I weld ti'n dysgu? They came to watch me teach. And somehow, I got the job. Felly, am 6 blynedd, 6 years, o'n i'n gweithio ar Welsh in a Week. So, o'n i'n cnocio, hello, with my Welsh in a Week bag. Dych chi eisiau dysgu Cymraeg? So, oedd e fel skill swap, so kind of, I'm moving in with you for a week I ddysgu Cymraeg. So, I fi, mae wedi bod yn berffaith, ffantastig, gwych, achos dwi wedi cadw un droed yn y byd teledu, sy'n ddiddorol, gwahanol, different, interesting, cyffroes, ac hefyd un droed yn y byd dysgu Cymraeg. So I felt like I've always kind of, what do they say about jack of all trades? There we are, I'm sure it's not true. Ond wneud dipyn bach o'r ddau. A dwi'n cofio, ar ôl I ni ddechrau yn flic, we were having an ideas meeting, we were like, o'n I wedi bod yn dysgu, I've been teaching the intensive course yn Llambed, in Lampeter, 8 wythnos. I used to go there for weeks every summer I dysgu grŵp o bobl. And then one year, there was a vicar on the course and he started sleeping with all the people in the class. And then we were like, do you know what might make interesting telly? Putting a group of people together I ddysgu Cymraeg. And then that's where Cariad Iaith came from. So,
because of a vicar, sorry.
Yeah, mae'n odd iawn, dydy. Felly, blynyddoedd wedyn, so we did one series yn Nantgwrtheuyn with Janet Street Porter. Ac wedyn, there was gap of years, we did 2 proper ones and am 8 wythnos, where we were there for 8 weeks and dysgu 6 awr yn y dosbarth. Bob dydd, everyone who was there was going, oh no, they're fantastic achos o'n i'n gweld. Ond, I fi, y peth gwych oedd, ar y cwrs cyntaf, on the first course, we used a traditional teaching method, Ulpan course. Dych chi wedi clywed am Ulpan neu wedi wneud? We did use the Ulpan course. Ond yr ail flwyddyn, the second year, nathon ni ddefnyddio Suggestopedia, Suggestopedia, and I can't tell you how exciting. It was just y gwahaniaeth, the difference. Ti'n gwybod I fi fel tutor ac i'r grŵp. We'll talk about more about the dill mewn munud. So, years on, dyma ni Cariad Iaith eto. Right, dyna fy hanes I, that's a bit about my background. A Johan.
Yeah. Well, heavily, quite simply, after years of working as a professional ballet dancer, so I went into dysgu Cymraeg oedolion, ac dwi'n brif weithredwr, Chief Executive of a company called Popeth Cymraeg. So that's my day job. Dwi'n nabod un person sydd yn dod yn gweld a bit paned o de in the centre where we have. So, Popeth Cymraeg, mae'n rhedeg dosbarthiadau, we run classes currently from Wrexham over to Felinheli by Bangor. So we've got about 800 to 1,000 students for felly. So that's my day job. Ac dwi'n dysgu dadawgrymeg. So we have 2 kinds of methods which we use in our institution. We have traditional communicative language teaching, very much like the teach yourself language courses where you learn how to do things in the language you're going to learn. A hefyd, dadawgrymeg, which is the method we're going to be using this week, wythnos yma, dadawgrymeg Suggestopedia. It's been my interest ever since I made the swap from ballet dancing to teaching Welsh. Interested. Yeah, what's so funny with that? It's been an interest of mine and how people actually learn. So, we've been able to come out with different kinds of experimental language teaching methodologies, and I've tried a few of them, and with this one, Dad o Cymraeg, I went out and trained with Dr. Lozanoff a few times, the person who started the method, allan yn Bulgaria ac yn Austria ac yn y blaen, and we set up a trainers association for people trained in this, and I'm currently vice chairman of that, so I do go over Europe and so on, go to conferences and do presentations on the method. So, on Heavenly RV, we do this method at Cariad at Iaith, but then Popeth Cymraeg is the only institution in Wales who uses the method on a daily basis ac yn y blaen. Mae dy chwaer, y sister, dy chwaer wedi gwneud Cymraeg efo Dad o Cymraeg. So that's the only method I personally use at present, although we do use other methods in the institution ac yn y blaen. So dyna fo. Mae gen I ddiddordeb mewn dysgu ieithoedd hefyd fel myfyriwr. I'm a big believer, if you're going to teach people to do something, you've got to have done it yourself. So one of my hobbies is learning languages. And the main thing, is, which we'll be coming back later on, is the most important thing is to learn to deall, understand. It's like a pyramid. The comprehension is much more important initially than siarad. Siarad comes with time. So, one of my hobbies is I pick up languages and darllen. I like reading novels and so on in other languages. That doesn't mean I can speak them, right? So it's the first step. And so the next step would be from the understanding comes to speaking. Okay, so wythnos yma, we'll be talking more about this. Gwthio, deall, dod I ddeall, understanding, comprehension, and your speaking will emerge from that. Digon am hynny, Norm?
Felly, Dad o Cymraeg, okay, literally, Suggestopedia, okay? So, Dysgu's teaching method that was created, as Johan said, by a guy called lovely, eccentric, old man called Dr. Georgi Lozanoff, who actually died a year ago? Yeah, a year ago, yeah. So he was a Bulgarian clinical psychologist, iawn, oedd a diddordeb mewn sut mae'r ymennydd yn gweithio, so how the brain processes language and information. So he did a lot of work. The reason it appealed to me when I was studying different teaching methods for my studies was because it's based on science, yeah, about how we process information. Ond beth sy'n ddiddorol, what's interesting is Lozanoff, Dr. Lozanoff, kind of married together with a lady called Evelina Gateva, who was an opera singer and had an interest in music. So nath e ddod â cerddoriaeth, music, into the process about how we learn, iawn? So when we sing, you kind of think, oh, it's just a bit of fun, and we're actually yn gweithio. And we also use music in different ways, with Baroque music and so forth, for things we call concerts during the sessions, but we'll tell you more about that in a minute. So, Dr. Lozanoff, so Johan and I both had the opportunity to train with him. The day I finished as staff, I went off to Vienna for a week and trained with Dr. Lozanoff. He's been over to Denby to train us both. And I just think he's a genius. It's amazing because I feel like he's given us like a gift of this teaching method that really brings out the best in people, yeah? It's based on the science of suggestology. You know, like Derren Brown, the whole kind of, you know, we're not gonna brainwash you, Helen, I can't. Otherwise I'd be making loads of money doing tricks of people on the side of the street and so on. But it's based on, because what happens is, over the years, you know, like you go, oh, I was terrible at languages in school. We kind of carry baggage with us, and people go, oh, Welsh is a really difficult language to learn, and oh, mutations are difficult, and it's not true, dydi o ddim yn wir, iawn? So it's about challenging those social suggestive norms that, you know, we've kind of thought, oh, it's, you know, in Britain, people speak only one language, whereas the rest of the world, people might speak 3 or 4 languages, it's the norm, you know, it's like, oh, it's easy. Felly it's about slowly changing that mindset, iawn? Mae o'n wedi seilio ar wyddoniaeth. As I said, it's based on science. You know, they kind of recorded brain activity during different sessions, and it's based on, you know, this thing that we only use a tiny, tiny percentage of our brain potential. So it's about reserve capacity sort of theory that there's so much we don't use and we need to tap into it. So with, I've got a lot of unused grey matter. Felly, fel ddwedodd Ioan, iawn, dyma sy'n bwysig. Everybody, when they ask you, oh, do you speak Welsh? Oh, do you speak Welsh? Do you speak Welsh? Well, dyna beth da ni eisiau newid. Do you understand Welsh? Because dyna ydy'r cam cynta. So to not beat yourself up. Oh, I can't say anything. Mae'n iawn. Deall, comprehension. Iawn precedes production. So what can we promise you this week? Lots o hwyl, iawn. Cefnogaeth i'ch gilydd, support each other. Cywiro, we won't be consciously correcting us. You can ask us, is that right? Is that? But the evidence shows that it doesn't matter how often we correct you, it's not going to make a blind bit of difference. It's like if you listen to somebody who's learned English, for example, okay? So I go, you go, we go, they go. And then it's really simple. Third person, you go, he goes. Yeah? And you try, doesn't matter how many times I tell you, oh, you need to put an S on the end, you need to put an S on the end. Because in the natural order of things, you're not ready to do that until down the line. It won't make any difference. So no conscious correction, no putting you on the spot, that's wrong, yeah? Felly, a cytundeb, contract, it's a two-way thing. Mae Ioan a finna yma, with our hand on our hearts, yma i'ch cefnogi chi, to support you. Ond os ydych chi angen rhywbeth, if you're feeling a bit ar goll, or you've got a question, or you need a bit of extra support, dyn ni genuinely yma i'ch helpu chi. So, a cwbl sy'n rhaid i chi wneud ydy cyfathrebu. All you need to do is communicate that with us. So, you know, oh, I find that helpful, or because you all learn differently. A beth sy'n hyfryd, you know, you've already gathered, you've got different levels of language, but you'll all be here to support and help each other. So it's nice having different, you know, different levels, because I know it must be frightening. Some people have got none and they go, oh, they sound fluent. Ond dyna sy'n dda, you help and support each other. In return, all we ask is that you arrive promptly yn y dosbarth and ready to engage and take part. Yeah? Ac os oes problem, that you let us know. Ardderchog. Reit te. Mae Ioan yn mynd I siarad mwy am fewnbwn, input, and this is one of the main differences am dadawgrymeg Suggestopedia.
Yeah, okay. Tasach chi'n mynd I ddosbarth traddodiadol, the traditional class, what would you get in a lesson? Fel arfer, rhywbeth fel 20 gair, okay? About 20 words in the lesson, normally, fel arfer. Ac falle 1 point grammatical, 1 grammar point, maybe like today it's Tuesday the 13th or whatever, so we're going to do the future tense as a third person maybe. Yeah? So, fel arfer, achos y syniad ydy that learning a language is so difficult, you have to give it to people in small chunks. Okay? So the message, every course carries a message. Okay? So if you've got a traditional course which gives you 20 words and 1 grammar point per lesson, the message is, this is going to be hard. You've got to work at it. It's like bricks, it's like building a wall. So, no, we don't do that. So we don't do that. Beth yn ni'n neud ydy hyn, so we don't give you 20 words, we give about roughly 1,000 words, dim problem efo hynny, good, okay. Iawn, gramadeg, so dyn ni'n rhoi, well, popeth really, everything, so we're rhoi I gyd yn y wers gynta, yeah? So happy with that? Fine, okay. So wedyn, ar ôl gwneud hynny, so we do that in the first lesson, yeah? So we get all that out of the way, yeah? Ond beth dyn ni'n neud wedyn ydy, so it's what's called an iterative curriculum or a repetitive curriculum. So what you do is you give everything, learn the word go, but then you keep on going back and going over it again. So you revisit the same material, eto, as you would when you acquire your first language, right? Like your parents, like when you're about 3 months, they don't apologize every day until you get that, and then they go to blame, and then, you know, they do that until, no, they do everything, and they just revisit it as the need arises. So, bit ni'n neud ydy, there's it's the volume of language is what drives the whole process. And there's a saying in with creativity, scientific work and creativity, it's this: it's saturation, incubation, illumination, verification. That means you get, these scientists, when they crack things, what happens is they read everything they can about a certain subject till their brains are hurting, then they think, I can't take this anymore. And they leave it. They go off and have a bath or jump on the train or whatever. And suddenly, when they're not looking, it hits them. Saturation, but there's been an incubation period. So beth sydd yn digwydd ydy, bore fory, you get the saturation, huge saturation, yeah? Then, saturation, the incubation period happens, okay? So it's important there that it just goes into the subconscious. And that's when you sleep, that's why you sleep. You sleep so that your brain can actually organize all the information which has gone in during that day. And they can test people on something. You give them information, they test them on them. They don't do very well. They test them the next day, they don't very well. Test them in 3 days' time when they've slept on it for about 2 or 3 days, and woof, it comes out. So saturation, incubation, that's the eureka illumination. And then just to check, you go back over the little details, that's the verification. So that's the process which is going to happen ar wythnos yma. It's like a watercolour painting, where you do the wash first of all, popeth, you do the whole thing, and then you go back and add on layers and layers and layers, and you build it up. So this is not learning. This is not learning. This is acquisition. It's a different process whatsoever. Acquisition is messy. Acquisition is where things happen and you don't know how they happened, why they happened, and so on. Like when we have inspectors coming out, the forms, they say, what will your students have learnt in today's lesson? How should I know? I have no way of knowing what each and one of you will learn within a short period of time. But given a long enough period of time, I can be pretty certain that you will have absorbed this, and depending on what level you are coming in, so on, you may have absorbed more. And the learning usually happens something like that. Right? There's not a gradual learning thing. There are leaps and plateaus in learning that happens all the time. Okay, that's a very quick run through, really, about the methodology and so on. If anybody is interested, we have papers which we can give you. We can print them off this week if you're interested in the background to it, or we can email them to you. One of the main things, this whole volume thing, it's science called complexity theory. And complexity theory is basically about how once you have a critical mass of anything, things change very dramatically, and the change is very, very, very sudden. For instance, like when water freezes. Water doesn't get gradually colder and gradually turns into ice. No, when it freezes like that. Or when it boils like that, because the molecules, and you need tons of molecules all banging into each other. And the same thing with ant hills. If you have about 5 ants in your garden, they all do their own thing. They're not synchronized. But when you start, if you had a whole bucket full of ants and you start pouring them in like this, they reach a critical mass. Ac yn sydyn iawn, they self-organize into a colony, and they start giving jobs to each other and so on. And so the complexity arises out of the volume. So with your pen, it's like having ants in your head. Really, what will drive your acquisition process is the volume of vocabulary you have. You can't speak a language without vocabulary. You can speak a language with very bad grammar, lots of people do, but you can't speak it without vocabulary. So the wythnos yma, we'll be pumping in vocabulary. Ond y peth arall ydy, why wait to get there? Don't hang around to get there. So wythnos yma, we'll be treating you as if you've already arrived. Okay? So one of the things, if you've already arrived, then you obviously have got a Welsh name. And that's the first thing we're going to do. It's like Clark Kent and Superman, right, okay? Yeah? Why be Clark Kent when you could be Superman? Right, okay? So, now then, beth sydd gyda ni fan hyn? So mae pawb yn y dosbarth, okay? Yn mynd I gael enw newydd. You've got an alter ego, a superhero. Well, you know the superhero, right? So dyma ni, os ni roi'r rhain allan, okay, pasiwch rhain o gwmpas.
More scientific than you know.
Yeah. So it's like these people who imagine themselves crossing the line, the Olympics, right? So they've already done it in their head hundreds and hundreds of times, or doing that fantastic putt to win the Masters or whatever, right? So, mewn ffordd, dyma chi. So, if you've already done it, it's no problem, is it? So, if you've already got a Welsh alter ego, even having 1,000 words in the first lesson means nothing. Right, so rwan, fel ydych chi'n gweld fan hyn, iawn? Mae enwau Cymraeg, dynion a merched. So dyma ni. So mewn munud, you're going to choose who you're going to be. It's like come on down or whatever, right? Or was it, no, stars in the eyes. Tonight I'm going to be so and so. So dyma ni, aelodau'r dosbarth, the members of the class, right? Mae gen ni Lowry, Bowen, merched o Cymraeg, mae gen ni dynion. And they have really good Welsh sounding names. So this is, you can choose who you're going to be. So mae gen ni Lowry, well, os nid i ddan hwn, beth na i wneud ydi, I'll do them this way. Dyn ni'n mynd i roi nhw ar y llawr. So, merched, dynion. Merched, dynion.
But last year, Bob was byddig, so you can be a girl if you're a boy and a boy if you're a girl. Os ydych chi eisiau, dim
So,
problem.
in no particular order, dyma ni, Bethan Cuthbertson. Bethan Cuthbertson o Fethel, prif athrawes. Prif athrawes, she's the headmistress. Bethan Cuthbertson o Fethel. Ffion Griffith, a mae Ffion Griffith yn dod o Dre Ffynnon, a she's a hyfforddwraig fitness instructor. Okay? Dwynwen with the lips. Okay, lips. Dwynwen Clwyd o Bantamwyn, a thrawes hwylio, a sailing teacher. Okay, so ni'n rhoi Dwynwen fan hyn. Okay, Mererid Rowlands o Ros Llanerch Rigog, ac mae Mererid Rowlands o Ros Llanerch Rigog yn arlunwraig, she's an artist. Sean Edwin Shenkin o Lansan Shore, asiant actorion, right? Actor's agent, you know, darling. Okay. Mae'r Esgair Roberts o Lanfair Caer Einion, ac mae Mae'r Esgair Roberts o Lanfair Caer Einion yn berchenog ffair. She's a fairground owner. Likes to go on the dodgems and so on. Lowry Bowen, a mae Lowry Bowen yn dod o Ddowlais. A gwaith Lowry Bowen o Ddowlais ydy, mae hi'n glown proffesiynol. Jyglo, troi'n coch ac yn y blaen. Okay? Buddig Hedd o Gaerdydd. Mae Buddig Hedd o Gaerdydd yn sylwebydd gwleidyddol. Right? Felly, a political commentator. Buddig Hedd o Gaerdydd. Sylwebydd gwleidyddol. Roi hi yn fanna. Right. Ai, caramba. Mirain Owain o Laneirgain. Ac mae Mirain Owain o Laneirgain yn dechnegydd sain. Sound technician. Right, so roi hi fan hyn. Okay. Right, ooh. Well, my favourites, Hawys Awen o Drelawnyd, a mae Hawys Awen o Drelawnyd yn awdures llyfr y detective. Just fel, agor y Crisig yn y blaen. Okay, right, roi hi yn fanna. Right, roi te. Mae nhw'n siarad Cymraeg ym Patagonia. Cymraeg a Sbaeneg, okay? Ac mae Myfanwy Evans Dechones yn dod o Drefelyn ym Patagonia, a'i gwaith hi gofodwraig. Gofodwraig, space woman. Dyna beth ydi Myfanwy Evans Dechones. Felly, right, so, hang on, pwy fe'n fydd Myfanwy Evans? Do this, you've got to have a jutting jaw. Sgai ben ddeg hwn yn munud. Right, this sound Eirian Taylor. Jaw has to come out. Don't click beast, put your finger there. Diolch Eirian Taylor. Pawb? Eirian Taylor. Okay. Mae Eirian Taylor yn dod o Fan Ceinion, ac mae Eirian Taylor o Fan Ceinion yn asiant deithio, fe Thomas Cook yn y blaen, asiant deithio. Ar un olaf ydi esyllt llwyd, ac mae esyllt llwyd yn dod o allt melyd. Ddim bell o Brysnatyn, iawn. Ac mae esyll llwyd o allt melyd yn llawfeddig. Surgeon, llawfeddig. Meddyg doctor, llaw hand, so she's the hand doctor, she's a surgeon. Not to be left out, y dynion. Mae Hedd ap Dafydd, ap synof, so Hedd ap Dafydd o Fynydd Isa. Bydd i gwaith Hedd ap Dafydd o Fynydd Isa? Gwyddonydd. He's a scientist. Gwyddonydd. So ni roi o'n fanna. Unwaith eto Patagonia, Dewi Llewellyn Rodriguez. Ac mae Dewi Llewellyn Rodriguez yn dod o Drelew. Named after Lewis Jones. Drelew. Ac beth ydi waith o? Wel, gwrw oes newydd. New Age guru. Sandals and everything. Felly, right iawn. Ac wedyn, Irfon Evans. Irfon Ifans o Lanfair Fechan. Irfon Ifans o Lanfair Fechan. Gwaith Irfon, deifiwr proffesiynol. Deifiwr proffesiynol. Go on, fanna. Okay. Gethin Arthur o Borth Madog. Gethin Arthur o Borth Madog. Cyfieithydd, y translator. Cyfieithydd, neu Gethin Arthur yn fanna. Okay. A wedyn, dwi'n licio'r person yma. Dwi'n licio'r person yma. Brychan ap Llawarch. Ac mae Brychan ap Llawarch yn dod o Fimbych. Ac mae o'n chwaraewr snwcer. Felly Brychan ap Llawarch o Fimbych yn chwaraewr snwcer. Felly ar un olaf, Llion ap Miall. Ac mae Llion ap Miall yn dod o Landrillo, ac mae o'n llyfrgellydd, y librarian, y llyfrgellydd. Nawr, felly dyma bobl, ac dyma y lluniau. So, dim mewn unrhyw drefn, not in any particular order, ond newn ni roi'r lluniau yma lawr hefyd, felly byddwch chi'n gorfod matcho rhain i fyny, hefo eich dewis, your choice of person, alter ego. Yeah? Ac wrth gwrs, dyma pwy ydych chi'n mynd i fod yr wythnos yma. So, wythnos yma, ydych chi'n dweud bore da, hawys, o bore da, lowri, o bore da, Brychan ap Llawarch. Felly dyma ni, roi'r lluniau yma, felly rat, so, meddyliwch rhaid, pwy ydych chi eisiau bod? Pwy ydych chi eisiau bod? Pwy ydych chi eisiau bod? Ydych chi eisiau bod yn Irfon Ifans, deifiwr proffesiynol? Ydych chi eisiau bod yn Lowri Bowen, clown proffesiynol? Ydych chi eisiau bod yn Dewi Llywelyn Rodriguez? Dewi Llywelyn Rodriguez ydy'r gwrw oes newydd? Right, er enghraifft, Ffion Griffith, hyfforddwraig ffitrwydd. So nawr ten, edrychwch fan hyn i weld pwy ydych chi eisiau bod. Choose wisely. Achos am weddill yr wythnos, dyma pwy ydych chi'n mynd i fod. Felly, so, dyma pwy ydych chi'n mynd i fod am yr wythnos yma. Right, siaradwr Cymraeg. How can you not be a Welsh speaker when you have a name like Brychan ap Llawarch? Felly, so, iawn, felly, mae'n amlwg, felly, so, you've arrived. So, rwan te, pawb I ddewis. Choose who you want to be. Ewch allan, pick up your name card.
Dewi Llywelyn.
Pwy ti eisiau bod?
Iawn, felly, dyn ni'n mynd I ddechrau y pen yma a gweld pwy sydd gyda ni fan hyn. Felly, pwy sydd gyda ni fan hyn? Iawn, pwy sydd gyda ni fan hyn?
Hedd ap Dafydd.
Hedd ap Dafydd. Ie? O lle?
O Fynydd Isa.
O Fynydd Isa. Hedd ap Dafydd o Fynydd Isa. A beth ydy dy waith di Hedd ap Dafydd?
Gwyddonydd, dwi.
Gwyddonydd, scientist, gwyddonydd. Hedd ap Dafydd o... Wel, croeso mawr I Hedd. Ie, croeso Hedd. So, Hedd ap Dafydd o Fynydd Isa, gwyddonydd. Gwych. Ia, fel ni'n gwybod pwy
Athodyn fel bod ni'n cofio.
Right, nawr te, pwy sydd gyda ni fan hyn? Pwy sydd fan hyn?
Myfanwy Evans de Jones.
Dechones, achos mae'n pat i gwybod. Myfanwy Evans Dechones. Myfanwy Evans Dechones, ie. O lle?
O Drefelyn.
O Drefelyn ym Mhatagonia. Ie, am siarad Cymraeg o Sbaenau. A beth ydy waith di?
Gofodwraig.
Gofodwraig. Gofodwraig. Gofodwraig. Space woman. Gofodwraig. Wel, croeso mawr! Ac pwy sydd fan hyn?
Chwan da, Dwynwen. Clwyd.
Wel, gai ddeud, ti'n edrych yn...
I can't say my name. Yeah, fi Dwynwen, yeah.
So, the lips, the pouting lips. Dwynwen Clwyd.
Oh, it's did.
Dwynwen Clwyd. O, Dwynwen.
Dwynwen Clwyd.
Yeah.
O,
Pantamwyn.
Pantamwyn.
Pantamwyn. It's the trwyn. See, dydwch trwyn, nos, trwyn. Trwyn and pinch your nose. Trwyn. Dwynwen. Dwynwen.
I am going to speak like that already.
Dwynwen, yeah. O bantamwyn.
Pantomime.
Da iawn. Perffaith, iawn. Okay, a beth ydy gwaith, athrawes. Athrawes.
Athrawes. Erio.
Hwylio.
Julio.
Julio Iglesias! Julio Iglesias!
Athrawes.
Hwylio. Clap mawr i. Reit, felly, reit, iawn. A pwy sydd fan hyn?
Dewi Llywelyn Rodriguez.
Dewi Llywelyn Rodriguez.
Dwi.
Ie, o lle?
O Drelew.
O Drelew, Matagonia, ie. Ac be di dy waith di?
Gwrw oes newydd.
Gwrw oes newydd, ie. Fel fel. O, mae gan y blaen. Wel, croeso mawr.
Diolch yn fawr.
Dewi Llywelyn Rodriguez, reit, da iawn. A fan hyn, pwy sy'n fan hyn?
Irfon Ifans.
Irfon Ifans. Ac o lle wyt ti'n dod, Irfon?
O Lanffair Fechan.
O Lanfair Fechan. A be di dy waith di?
Deifewr proffesiynol.
Deifwr proffesiynol. Da iawn, ie. Ydych chi'n cofio hynny o'r trwyddetha, ie? Gwi, clap mawr i Irfon, da iawn. A pwy sydd fan hyn?
Esyllt Llwyd.
Esyllt Llwyd, wel, ac o lle wyt ti'n dod, Esyllt?
O Allt Melyd.
O Allt Melyd, a be di dy waith di?
Llawfeddig, dwi.
Llawfeddig, gwych. Wel, clap mawr i Esyllt Llwyd, da iawn, oce. A pwy sydd fan hyn?
Gethin Arthur.
Gethin Arthur. Ac o lle wyt ti'n dod, Gethin?
O Borth Madog.
O Borth Madog, i fyny yn y gogledd. Ac be di dy waith? Ie, gogledd. Gogledd, ie. So, a be di dy waith di, Gethin?
Cyfieithydd.
Cyfieithydd, y translator. Cyfieithydd. Wel, croes y mawr! Da iawn, da iawn. A pwy sydd fan hyn?
Fion Griffin.
Fion Griffith. Ac o lle wyt ti'n dod, Fion?
O Drefynon.
O Drefynon, a fun place. Ac, so Fion Griffith o Drefynon, a...
Hyfforddwraig.
Hyfforddwraig, ie?
Hyfforddwraig ffitrwydd.
Hyfforddwraig ffitrwydd, ie?
Hyfforddwraig ffitrwydd.
Hyfforddwraig ffitrwydd, a clap mawr i Fion! Reit, iawn, oce. Ac wedyn, fan hyn, pwy sy'n fan hyn?
Hawys Awen dwi.
Hawys Awen. Waw. Hawys Awen. O
Drelawnyd.
O Drelawnyd. A be di dy waith di, Hawys?
Awdres llyfrau detective.
Awdures llyfrau detective.
Yeah.
Awdures llyfrau... Wel, clap mawr! Ac yn olaf?
Eirian Taylor.
Eirian Taylor, with the jutting jaw. Eirian Taylor. O lle Eirian? O?
Fanceinion.
O Fanceinion. Ac be di dy waith di?
Asianteithio.
Asianteithio. Wel, croeso mawr i Eirian. Right, felly dyma ni. Felly, iawn. Oce, wel rwan, nad bod chi... So, dwi'n ofnadwy yn cofio pethau, just a terrible memory for remembering where everybody is. So, os ydyn dweud, yn fan hyn, here, okay, pawb yn dweud yn fan hyn? Yn fan hyn. So, os ydw i'n dweud, lle mae Esill Llwyd o Allmeddyg Llawfeddig?
Yn fan hyn.
Reit, Diane, yn fan hyn. Lle mae Dewi Llywelyn Rodriguez o Drelew? Yn fan hyn. Yn fan hyn. Lle mae Hedd ap Dafydd o Fyny Fisa Gwyddonydd?
Yn fan hyn.
Yn fan hyn. Lle mae Eirian Taylor o Fanceinion Asianteithio?
O fan hyn.
Yn fan hyn. Lle mae Dwynwen Clwyd?
Yn fan hyn.
Yn fan hyn.
I speak like that already.
A lle mae Myfanwy Evans de Chones o Drefylen Gofodwraig?
Yn fan hyn.
O, yn fan hyn, iawn. A lle mae Hawys Awen o Drelawnyd? Yn fan hyn, yn fan hyn. A lle mae Irfon Ifans y deifio proffesiynol o landfair fechan?
Yn fan hyn?
Yn fan hyn. A lle mae... Bwy ddim wedi cael rwyd? Lle mae Ffion Griffith o Dref Ffalon fan hyn. A... Wedi cael pawb? Wedi cofio rhywun? Wedi cael pawb? Na? Wedi cael pawb. Okay. O, lle mae Gethin Arthur? Lle mae Gethin Arthur o Borthmadog i fyny yn y gogledd? Cyfieithydd?
Yn fan hyn.
Yn fan hyn. Iawn, da iawn. So na, beth ydym mynd i wneud ydy, dyn ni'n mynd i chwarae, dych chi'n mynd i bwyntio. Ar ôl tri, pan dwi'n galw enw allan, dych chi jyst yn pwyntio yn gyflym. Okay? Right, so os dyn ni'n gweud, yw'r rhestr, dwi'n gallu papur melyn yma.
O, fanna.
Yeah, come on, Rhonda. Wow. Oh, okay.
Okay, so I don't want to be outdone. Alright? Yeah?
Dyn ni'n gysylltiol, competitive, dych chi'n gweld felly, right? So, okay, lle mae, lle mae Adrian Taylor?
Yn fan hyn.
Yeah, so pawb i bwyntio. Yeah, quick on the draw. Right, quick on
Sorry,
the draw.
Fian. I just noticed I gave you a
So,
thing upside down.
Pawb i wneud hynny, okay? Pawb, quick on the draw. Okay, so unwaith eto, that was a trial run, okay? So os ydyn ni'n dweud, lle mae Adrian Taylor? Lle mae Gethin Arthur?
Go.
Lle mae Heddaf Dafydd? Lle mae Dwyrain Clwyd? Right, iawn. Lle mae... Mafadri Evans y Chones? Fan hyn, iawn. Lle mae... Lle mae Ffion Griffith? Lle mae... Hamas Howyn? Lle mae Esyll Llwyd? Lle mae... Derek Fenton Rodriguez? Right, mae'n mynd i cael pawb. Felly, okay. Wel, beth dyn ni'n mynd i wneud nawr ydy, dyn ni'n mynd i wneud dialog, okay? A wedyn mae Nia mynd i wneud can gyda chi, because she's got a better voice than me, so mae hi'n mynd i wneud can hefo chi ar y diwedd, okay? Ond dyn ni'n mynd i wneud dialog nawr. Felly, dwi jyst mynd i droi hwn rownd. Na, ten, mae dialog ar y bwrdd gwyn fan hyn, felly dyn ni'n mynd i wneud dialog, ac dyma fel patrwm, okay? So, dyn ni'n helo, Cymraeg, Gog, helo, Cymraeg, hwn tŵ. Ac wedyn put i name, enw, Dafydd Davies, dwi, so, Gethin Arthur, dwi, Ffion Griffith, dwi, ac yn y blaen, okay? Dwi'n dod o Drelew, right, o Drefelyn, o fyny ddisa, lle fanna'n gael, okay? O Ddinbych, okay? Neis iawn. Neis iawn, okay?
Really high pitch.
Yeah, neis iawn. Neis iawn. A wena Owen, dwi, so os mewn dialog, right? If you ever had a dialogue with anybody, one person speaks and another person speaks. So a wena Owen, dwi'n dod o, Donna Pandy, or wherever you come from, okay? Person B, lwcus iawn. Oh, okay. Right, Donna Pandy. Okay, well, neis cwrdd â chi. Nice to meet you. Neis cwrdd â chi. Pawb ydy? Neis cwrdd â chi. Pawb? Neis cwrdd â chi. Neis cwrdd â chi, okay? Achithe. Achithe. And yourself. Achithe. Achithe. Weithiau, they teach people to say, bore da sydd ych chi, iawn diolch, a chi. Ooh, that's great. Nah, it's achithe and yourself. So if somebody asks you a question, unrhyw beth yn Gymraeg, and you go blah, 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 and throw the question back, just say, achithe. So you say, beth i'ch gwaith chi? Oh, awdures llyfr detective, do we? Achithe? You throw it back, achithe. So achithe, pawb? Achithe. Hwyl fawr. Hwyl fawr. Hwyl fawr. Hwyl fawr. Okay, so dyna'r dialog, ac os newch chi basio hwn o gwmpas, os gwch yna, dyna'r dialog ar babur, which you can glance at os ydych chi eisiau. Ond beth ni'n mynd i wneud nawr ydy, dyn ni'n mynd i gyfarfod. Dyn ni'n mynd i hawl cheese and wine party without the cheese and wine. Right, okay, so dyn ni'n mynd i symud o gwmpas, dych chi'n mynd i siarad efo pobl, dweud helo Cymraeg, so dyn ni'n mynd helo Cymraeg, bla bla bla, dwi'n dod o, wherever you come from. And you say, oh, neis iawn, blah, 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 dwi'n dod o, wherever you come from. Oh, lwcus iawn. Wel, neis iawn, cwrdd chi, nice to meet you. Achithe, hwyl fawr, hwyl fawr. After that scintillating conversation, you move on to the next person. Okay, so round there. Okay, so be dyn ni eisiau ydy, dyn ni eisiau 2 race, 2 rows. 2 race, so pa lan? No. So, dych chi eisiau, it's like a barn dance. Dych chi wyneb, so mingle first of all, just okay, a wedyn ewch chi mewn I 2 race. So, os newch chi 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ac 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, so, whoa, right, okay, so ysdyn ni, okay, so ysdyn chi, be dyn ni mynd I wneud, okay?
Awn ni'n falle famau esbonio.
Okay, os newch chi symud I lawr?
Rydych chi lawr dipyn bach, shimmy.
Right, okay, iawn. So, mae gan bawb partner, edrychwch ar eich partner, wnewch yn siŵr pwy ydy eich partner. Dwi'n bod, mae Nia y fyna yn partneriaid fan hyn. So, gen I symud nôl tipyn bach, so make some room between. Because mewn hwnna, dych chi angen camu I mewn. Ond, dyn ni ddim eisiau, byddwn ni ddim eisiau mewn gwirionedd, ydych chi just sort of mynd, hello, smile, blah, 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 mae'n boring iawn. Na, llawer o egni, energy, llawer o egni. So byddwn ni'n neud, ydy, yn lle dweud, so, byddwn ni'n neud yn boring I ddechrau, okay? Okay, hello, smile.
Hello, smile.
You on top yn dwi?
Nia dwi.
Dwi'n dod o... Dwi'n dod o... Ia, mae hynny'n boring iawn. Na, beth chi eisiau gwneud ydy, ar ôl 3, byddwn ni'n dweud 1, 2, 3... Helo, Symai!
Helo, Symai!
You on top yn dwi, dwi'n dod...
Nia dwi'n dod o Landrillion Rhos.
Yeah, ac yn y blaen. So we need the energy. So the roof should be raised with this energy. Okay, so ar ôl 3, I'm timing with my watch, okay? Ar ôl 3, at the count of 3, dych chi'n mynd I fewn, okay? I'm watching the second thing here. Okay, ar ôl 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3!
Dwi'n dod o Borthmadog.
O, nice iawn. Mesur Lloyd dwi'n dod o Allmelin.
Lwcus iawn.
Wel, nice iawn fi.
A chythe.
Hwyl fawr.
Dwi'n dod o Landrillion Rhos. O, lwcus iawn. Wel, neis gwrdd â
Dwi'n dod o Fynydysau.
O ie, lwcus iawn.
Wel, neis cwrdd â chi.
A chythe. Hwyl fawr. Right, okay, da iawn. Okay, gawch chi eistedd I lawr. Da iawn. Eistedd I lawr, da iawn. Okay.
Thank you.
Felly, dyna ni. Felly, dych chi'n gwybod pwy ydi pawb nawr. Felly, dyma ni. Dyma Eirian. Dyma Hawys. Dyma Ffiol. Dyma Gethin y Gog. Dyma Esell. Dyma Irfon. Dyma Dewi. Dyma Dwynwen gyda'r drwbesau. A dyma Ffi...
So just dod o chi rownd.
Myfanwy a dyma Hedd. Felly, dyna ni. Right, okay. Dyna hwnna. Nawr, mae Lia ar dan on fire eisiau canu. Felly nawr, ydych chi'n mynd I ganu, felly.
Mae'n gallu canu?
Oes, wrth gwrs bod ti dwi wedi clywed I. Actually, you've all been chosen because of your voices. Achos ni'n gwneud cor, ffantastig, cor Cariad at Iaith ar y gog. Sim ots os ydych chi ddim yn canu mewn tiwn, mae'n iawn. permission to sing out of tune. Ardderchog. Reit te. Wel, achos, os ydych chi'n edrych allan trwy'r ffenest, beth dyn ni'n weld? What can we see? Haul. Ie, ti'n iawn, yr heilwen. A môr. Dyn ni'n agos iawn at lan y môr. So, o'n i'n meddwl, we'd sing a little song about lawr ar lan y môr. Down on the beach. Iawn? Lawr ar lan y môr. Dych chi wedi clywed y gan yma o'r blaen? You heard this o'r blaen? Dechog. Perfect. You're halfway there. Iawn ten. Felly, dyn ni'n... Mae fel, it's like our own little love story, iawn. Cariad at Iaith love story. Felly, i ddechrau, mi gwrddais i a merch fach ddel. Okay, so mi gwrddais i cwrdd, neis cwrdd â chi. Yeah, nice to meet you. I met merch fach ddel. Pretty little girl. Pretty little girl, iawn. Mi gwrddais i a merch fach ddel. Ble? Where? Lawr ar lan y môr. Lawr ar lan y môr. Lawr ar lan y môr. Mi gwrddais i a merch fach ddel. Ble? Lawr ar lan y môr. Lawr ar lan y môr. Okay, perfect. Chorus. O, rwy'n dy garu di. O, rwy'n dy garu di. Yr enedd ar lan y môr. O, rwy'n dy garu di. O, rwy'n dy garu di. Yr enedd ar lan y môr. Oh, I'm liking the chorus! Yeah, and that's iawn. Felly, so, right, hard to get i ddechrau, hard to get, okay, mi gwrddais I met a pretty little girl down on the beach. Nesa, straight in there, gofynnais I asked, am gisan fach. Un gisan fach. Gofynnais am un gisan fach. Lawr ar lan y môr, lawr ar lan y môr, lawr ar lan y môr. Gofynnais am un gisan fach. Lawr ar lan y môr, lawr ar lan y môr. O, rwy'n dy garu di, o, rwy'n dy garu di, yr enedd ar lan y môr. Rwy'n dy garu di, o, rwy'n dy garu di, yr enedd ar lan y môr. A ddeffo, reit ta. So, gofynnwch a chwiargewch. Okay, if you ask, you might get, so it's worth asking. Mi gefais I un gisan fach. I had a little kiss. Just un gisan fach. Mi gefais I un gisan fach, yeah? 1, 2, 3. Mi gefais I un gisan fach. Lawr ar lan y môr. Lawr ar lan y môr. Lawr ar lan y môr. Mi gefais I un gisan fach. Lawr ar lan y môr. Lawr ar lan y môr. Rwy'n dy garu di, rwy'n dy garu di, yr enedd ar lan y môr. Rwy'n dy garu di, rwy'n dy garu di, yr enedd ar lan y môr. Reit ben, rhyw ddiwrnod fei priodaf hi. Priodi? Wedi priodi, exciting. Someday I'll marry her, yeah? Someday I'll marry her. Didn't take long, did it? One kiss, marriage. And that's fine. Yeah, yn union. Iawn, dych chi'n deall y gist, felly ar eich traed. Okay, o'r top, iawn? 1, 2, 3. Mi gwrddais I am merch fach ddel, lawr ar lan y môr, lawr ar lan y môr, lawr ar lan y môr. Mi gwrddais I am merch fach ddel, lawr ar lan y môr, lawr ar lan y môr. Rwy'n dy garu di, o, rwy'n dy garu di, yr enedd ar lan y môr. Rwy'n dy garu di, o, rwy'n dy garu di, yr
La